So it's like Lewis's.
And donuts. So that was way easy.
Why don't we go here?
And so for her, it was mainly that it was just so beautiful for the most important part. Or the one
It's Brian.
all right, well then just tell Brian this is
Oh my gosh.
Come here,
Why on this day do both of my kids have to cry literally all three?
You'll smile at complete strangers, but you
Hey, can I just get a better picture? Because she did that.
Please be seated. In the ceremony I'm about to perform, I will use the word covenant. Thus, when you guys say yes or I do, you will be making a covenant. So what really is a covenant? It's a promise between the two of you and Heavenly Father. And as you live up to your end of the bargain, you will be blessed. In Doctrine and Covenants, section 82, verse 10, it says, I, the Lord, am bound when you do what I say, but when you do not what I say, you have no promise. So when you keep your end of the bargain, He has to keep His, and you will be blessed. In the ceremony, you will make a promise to cleave. So what does it mean to cleave? In Matthew chapter 19, verse 5, it says, and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. How do you cleave to one another? The English dictionaries define cleave as splitting apart. It's also found in the Bible as a cloven foot, but that doesn't really make sense in this case. But if you look at the original language, you see that cleave means to cling or stick to be joined together, pursue closely, to glue yourself together. If you are to cleave to each other and none else, you will join yourself to each other and not your friends or your parents. My father, who was a marriage counselor, gave this advice, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but one of the best things you can do after you get married is move 500 miles away from both sets of parents. So that you have to become friends with each other. And you cleave to each other and not to your friends or to your parents. You should be each other's best friend. Enjoy that. You will make a covenant to love, honor, and cherish. So what does it mean to love? It's a deep affection. We know that. But what does it mean to honor? High respect or esteem. We're commanded to honor our parents. Now you're covenanting to honor each other. How can you do that? Value each other's opinion. Serve each other. Treat each other with dignity and kindness. And never say hurtful things. I'm going to share a story to emphasize this point. Back in the 1800s, there was a young couple that got married. and moved out to establish their home on the frontier, build a little cabin. Each day he would go out, clear the land. She would stay in the home and take care of the home, and she had the responsibility for taking care of the cow, which had a bell on it. And one day he came back and the cow had strayed. And he was very upset and said some very hurtful things to her. So that evening they didn't speak to each other. They didn't speak to each other that whole night. The next morning they didn't speak to each other. And he went out the next day without ever speaking to her. And the storm started to roll in the afternoon, and he got concerned, and he came home, and she was gone and left a note apologizing because the cow had strayed again. And she went out, she got caught in that storm, and by the time he found her, she had succumbed to the elements. So here's a poem that goes along to remind you why you should never say hurtful things. Boys flying kites, hauling their white-winged birds, but you can't do that when you're flying words. Thoughts unexpressed may sometime fall back dead, but God himself can't kill them once they're said. Treat each other with kindness. Never say hurtful things. What does it mean to cherish? Protect and care for lovingly. I cherish my memory of going to basketball games with my dad. How do you cherish each other? Go on regular dates. Wash the dishes. Change a diaper. Make a special meal. That's how you cherish each other. One way to show that you love, honor, and cherish each other would be to work towards the new and everlasting covenant of temple marriage. I challenge you to work towards that. Temple marriages, like good marriages, don't just happen. They take hard work. Great athletes are born with natural talent, but really great ones have a determination and work ethic to be the best. The love that you now share is like that natural talent and is essential for a marriage. But to be a temple marriage, you have to have a determination and a work ethic to make it the best. We've talked about the things that you have to do every day to make your marriage eternal. Today you will covenant to love, honor, and cherish. As you keep the covenant, your love will grow and you will receive blessings from our Heavenly Father. I pray that you will be able to keep this covenant, that your family may be eligible for Heavenly Father's blessings. Can I get the two of you to take each other by the right hand? You ready for this? We'll do that right after. Ethan Bradshaw Fadley and Crystal Lorraine Wessendorf, you have taken one another by the right hand in token of the covenants you will now enter into in the presence of God and these witnesses. Ethan Bradshaw Fadley, do you take Crystal Lorraine Wessendorf as your lawfully wedded wife, and do you, of your own free will and choice, covenant as her companion and lawfully wedded husband, that you will cleave unto her and none else, that you will observe all the laws, covenants, and obligations pertaining to the holy state of matrimony, and that you will love, honor, and cherish her as long as you both shall live? I do. Crystal Lorraine Wessendorf, do you take Ethan Bradshaw Fadley as your lawfully wedded husband, and do you, of your own free will and choice, covenant as his companion and lawfully wedded wife, that you will cleave unto him and none else, that you will observe all the laws, covenants, and obligations pertaining to the holy state of matrimony, and that you will love, honor, and cherish him as long as you both shall live?
I do.
By virtue of the legal authority vested in me, and as an elder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I pronounce you, Ethan Bradshaw Fadley, and Crystal Lorraine Wessendorf, husband and wife, legally and lawfully wedded for the period of your mortal lives. You may kiss each other as husband and wife. Now, I understand you have some rings that you would like to exchange. It's too late now, is it? I think that deserves one more kiss. Okay, it's official. And we're done as far as I'm concerned. What the next plan is.
Guys!
Do it again.
Hey, but wait, can Bishop move out of the way? I know that's hard.
So much
Hey, will
work.
you just hug, like, get together, whatever? There you go. Your ring's on the wrong hand. Your ring's on the wrong hand. You can...
It is on our hand, isn't it? I know, sorry, I was in the moment.
Thank you.
It's still official.
It happens all the time.
It's good to hear.
Oh, gosh.
You have a 50% chance, Crystal. It's okay.
Her cheeks are already hurting from smiling.
I got a picture just as you were making that face.
Yeah, I want to take
Now
a
pictures, yes, now pictures, and then some of us will.
Don't tell me one outside pictures.
Well, why don't you guys all go hug each other and stuff, and I want to get bridesmaid pictures.
Go ahead, hug. We all get to hug me first.
Oh my gosh. This is really cool. I won't let you picture.
Are you still up to have them with you?
My mom is trying to find, like, yeah, we're just oh, well, her too. But would you drive out there? We would drive out there. My mom would drive so far here. We drive back, so that was like a little road. And we probably fly her for a while. Unless you want me to fly back. Because I'm probably not going to work anymore. Like when summer hits, I'm going to have to work also.
And then just bounces like this.
When you're in the ceiling. I guess they do, yeah, they do a ring shape. So make sure you put it on the right hand. So yeah, I remember I had to take off my ring. Oh yeah, this was my engagement and my wedding ring. So he just put I know.
One more down.
No. That's the ring. That's the right hand. You okay? I should have just grabbed him like this and threw him down.
No, my turn.
You're supposed to empty it.